Hey everybody, welcome back. One Piece chapter 1015 chapter review, and I've got the shitty cheap dollar store suit jacket on today, folks, because it's a special occasion. No, not just because I got a few predictions correct this chapter, but for the first time in our reviews here, and really the first time since chapter 1010, we have a 10 out of 10 chapter. That's right, I said it. 10 out of 10 chapter. I loved it. It hit me pretty hard in some places. It had some of the most epic moments we've seen from maybe a character who has not shined very much in maybe, I don't know, the last couple of years. And just a lot to get into, a lot of fun stuff. 10 out of 10 chapter. First time in the history of this channel. And let's dive right into it. Speaking of the predictions, we're going to earn 2 points today in the win columns. That's right. Both have to do with Luffy. I said that Luffy would be saved by the people and Law's submarine was not. I mean, it's not like I came up with all these theories. I'm sure hundreds of thousands of people made the same prediction. But the fact is, I doubled down on it. And I was correct. So I earn a point in that category. Plus, I also thought that the voice Momo was hearing in his head was Luffy speaking to him with the voice of all things, and that was confirmed as well, so that's 2 wins for me. Unfortunately, we also have an epic loss this time around. I was sincerely hoping that Zeus would be dead, and would not come back really in any form, and we find out this chapter that he has somehow merged with Nami's Climatact weapon baton thing. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised about this. Of course, I do take a sin in the sin column, but I mean, we saw Big Mom suck his soul out, and then he got eaten by Hera. There really should not be anything left. I assume this was Oda's way of powering him down so that Nami is not now utilizing the power of a fucking Yonko as one of the weakest Straw Hat members. I'm guessing now that Zeus has been so nerfed, you know, he'll still have, like, Nami can still utilize his power, but it will not be as strong as it once was. I would really hope, at least, that this is the case, because, again, his soul was sucked out by Big Mom. He should not be alive at all, but, you know, it's Oda's story. I'm not going to tell him how to write it. I'm just hoping that this new version of the Zeus combination with Nami will be a bit of a power decrease from what he used to be. Otherwise, what was even the point of all this stuff that happened with his character? So the reason why this chapter I knew would be a 10 out of 10. It was a 9 out of 10 up until I got to the scene with Kinemon, Kaido, Momonosuke. Oh man, it was brutal. So fucking brutal. Not the type of thing we often get in One Piece, and when we do get it, I have to acknowledge it and praise it for the beautiful, brutal artistry that it really is. I don't know if this will sound extremely pretentious, it very well might be, but the way I like to try to read One Piece, you know how you read a story and it kind of plays out maybe as a movie in your head? I don't know how most of you read it, the manga. Does it play out like the anime in your head? It very well might, and I assume that's how a lot of people see it. For all I know, that's how Oda sees it. That when he's drawing it, he sees it like it's an anime scene playing out. But the way I like to imagine the story as I'm reading it is that these are events that are actually happening in some fantasy world, and Oda's drawings of them, it's almost like he can see this literally happening in his head, and that's how the story is so vivid and the creativity flows off the page, because he can literally see this as its own universe in his brain, and he's just drawing the cartoon depiction of what he's seeing. Again, that he's never, as far as I know, he's never said that that's his writing creative process, so I'm probably just out of left field completely. But reading this scene with Kinemon trying to stall Kaido, if you read it literally, like you actually imagine this is really happening, these are real people, it hit me so hard. And I know a lot of people do not care about the Scabbards or Kinemon or any of that, but after this chapter... At this point, you would have to actively be choosing to dislike the characters, because it's just the desperation. Kinemon is trying so hard, not even to win. He's already lost. He is powerless against Kaido, but he is so determined to protect Momonosuke because he loves Odin so much, and now he loves Momo so much. Not only as Odin's son, but as his own surrogate son. The desperation, and in the last chapter, he takes Kaido's Conqueror's Haki attack head on. People assumed he was dead. I think I get another prediction point because I said he's not going to be dead. I don't know if I wrote that down in my predictions or not, but I remember saying it. I said Kinemon after last chapter is not dead. He will live on to speak again in future chapters, and I was right. He was still alive in this one, so fuck it. I earn another point. My KD is more than positive now, baby. I don't know if I'll ever have a prediction KD this good again. I love the art in the scene where Kinemon is desperately trying to stall Kaido. Not to win the fight, just to stall him for as many seconds as possible to let Momo have the best chance of escaping. It's so tragic. In the way that Kaido... Now that Kaido has defeated Luffy, and Kaido is under the impression, perhaps correctly, that Luffy was the strongest member of this alliance, now that Kaido is convinced that he's defeated Luffy, he has nothing to fear. He knows everything else is going to be child's play, and he's so arrogant towards Kinemon, but it's earned. He says, "Why do you keep fighting? What's the fucking point, dude? I beat Luffy. You guys are done. You have nobody left who can stop me. What is even the point? What are you trying to accomplish with stabbing me in the fucking leg with your puny little knife? Fuck you, dude. Like, you're just wasting my time at this point." The fact that Kaido is that much stronger than Kinemon, but Kinemon, without any fear, is still just doing anything he can to fight back. Reading that on a literal level, I thought it was so incredible. And the way that Kaido just fucking stabs straight through his torso as a final fuck you, get the fuck out of my face. I'm going to kill Momo right now, and there's nothing you can do. It's so intense, and I've said brutal 100 times, but that's really what it is. Read that. No more speed reading. If you just read through that in less than 10 seconds, go look at each individual panel and see just how dark and fucked the whole thing is. That scene was my favorite of the chapter by far, and it cemented it as a 10 out of 10. The question is, I was correct that Kinemon, and people make fun of my pronunciation. They say I pronounce it like a Pokemon. Kinemon, is it Kinemon? I don't fucking care. I'm gonna call him Kinemon. Do I double down on my prediction and say that he is still alive? A lot of people are under the impression that there's no possible way Kinemon is still alive after this chapter. Do I agree? Folks, I'm gonna put it out there. Kinemon is not dead yet. Here's the way I see it. Not only is Kinemon one of the main characters, he's been around since Punk Hazard, so really ever since chapter fucking 660, thereabouts. He's been around for 400 chapters at this point. He's been part of the crew. I think his death will warrant more than just 2 or 3 pages in a chapter. Like, when he dies, I think it'll be a much bigger deal in the chapter. But beyond that, one of the major themes of the story is inherited will. And we have so many examples of this great person has a dream, but oh no, they died before they could fulfill the dream. But look, the people whose lives they affected and the people who loved them, they inherit that will. They will go on to fulfill the dreams of their loved ones who died before they can make them happen. And that's like the whole point of Luffy and so many of the characters. Like, I'm pretty much every fucking character is trying to fulfill the dream of somebody else on their behalf, and they've, made it their own dream as well. And Odin, he's such a legendary character in the mythos, and he had so many goals that he needs to have accomplished. He wants to open Wano's borders because he was part of Roger's Pirates, and he went to Laugh Tale, so he knows, in order for Joy Boys, blah, 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 I gotta open the borders of Wano, blah, blah, blah. It's important to the lore of this universe, blah, blah, blah. So, Momo is inheriting that dream. But Kinemon and the rest of the Scabbards, but specifically Kinemon, because he is the leader of the Scabbards, he's the main character from the Scabbards, he's inheriting Odin's dream or will or goal to not only keep Momo safe from Kaido, but to see Momo ascend to the throne in Odin's place. And I believe Kinemon cannot die until he sees that goal fulfilled. Luffy is inheriting the will of Odin to defeat Kaido, but Kinemon needs to see that Kaido has been defeated and Momo is safe before he passes away. And I think that will be the last thing he sees before he dies. I think even if after what Kaido did to him this chapter, he's not fighting anymore, I have to assume. I think he's mortally, fatally wounded and will not be lasting much longer, but his dying breath will be watching Kaido defeated, and he will know that the day is saved. And not only that, but of the Scabbards who are going to die, I think Kinemon will be the final one to die. Because we keep hearing about them saying, we'll see you in the afterlife, and I can't wait to hear you in the afterlife to let me know how it all went. I think it would be metaphorically and maybe perhaps literally. We know that souls exist in One Piece. Maybe there is some sort of afterlife. I doubt we're going to actually see it on screen. But just symbolically, spiritually, the concept of all the Scabbards who end up dying in this arc, Kinemon should be the last one, because then he'll be the one to show up in the afterlife to let Odin and the rest of them know, hey, Momo is safe. We did it. We won. I saw it with my own eyes. And the rest of our Scabbards, the rest of our crew, they are safe as well. I'm the last one to die. I just think it would fit. I think that should be Kinemon's role. And also, maybe he gets to talk to his wife one last time before he dies too. So for those reasons, I would like to see Kinemon live. I'm going to make an official prediction that he will survive to see Kaido defeated. Even though even the YouTubers I respect most all agree that Kinemon is dead after this chapter, and I very well could look like a fool with my pants on the ground, but that's what we're going with. I don't really have much to say about Sanji. I mean, he's my fourth favorite Straw Hat, so of course I'm happy to see him do something awesome. And his Diablo Jamble, or I can't pronounce fucking French or whatever fucking bullshit, but everybody can acknowledge how great it was when he kicks Queen's head and it deflects all the arrows and hits Sparrow. Just an epic entrance. It's what you expect from Sanji. After the hardcore Sanji diehard fans, they've been suffering for, it feels like, years now. Sanji has not really done anything this epic in a long time, so I'm glad he finally did, and you love to see it. I love him talking to Chopper and saying, hey man, how many miracles have you seen? Because we know how much miracles mean to Chopper. That was kind of Dr. Hiruluke's whole thing. He wanted the miracles of the flower petal blossom shit, rain down from the snow. Chopper's big into miracles, and that was great for Sanji to bring up to him, to remind him, hey man, we've seen miracles happen. You believe in miracles? Of course Luffy is not dead. He's coming back. And really the last thing I want to mention is Momo. People really don't like Momo, and I've never been that wild about him myself. I think I've talked a little bit of shit about him on here, but I found it was a newfound respect for his character after this chapter. And if you really think about it, this 8-year-old kid has gone through some of the most traumatizing shit imaginable. in the last few months. Like his father, really like most of his family is fucking killed by this giant monster dragon dude. And the dragon dude like is choking him, holding him up, and he develops a fear of heights. He's constantly on the run, getting kidnapped by Caesar Clown and all this horrible shit. And now he's a little child in the middle of a giant battlefield. And he just watched Kinemon and his other scabbard friends get fucking slaughtered. Fucking slaughtered. And now the most powerful being, as far as Momo knows, the most powerful creature in existence is chasing him down. He was just in the same room as him, and he's coming to fucking kill him. Like he knows that Shinobu can't fight fucking Kaido. Momo knows he is fucked. This is the most traumatizing shit I can imagine for an 8-year-old. And the fact that through the emotion, I love the emotion Oda draws on Momo's face as he's crying, terrified. Like, this is terrifying! And you can see it in the art, and it's so good. But the fact that despite all that, despite Momo knowing he's about to be fucking killed by Kaido, the man who was responsible for the death of both his father and his surrogate father, even with all of that happening around him, he still takes up the leadership role and grabs the little frog walkie-talkie to let everybody know, Luffy told me he's coming to beat Kaido. Don't stop fighting. Somebody in the comments section told me in the last chapter review that I'm an idiot for thinking an 8-year-old kid could be the leader of a country, despite, in real life Earth history that has happened many a time. He thinks that Momo will not be able to develop as a character enough to have that responsibility. But I think just in this chapter, he proved it. Isn't that what leadership is? Even when you, as the captain of the ship, the leader of the country, even on your deathbed, when you're moments away from being fucking slaughtered by Kaido, a giant crazy monster, in those moments, that's when true leadership shines. And he isn't a coward who does nothing and just accepts defeat. He has to let everybody know that there is still hope. Don't stop fighting. We're all still in this together. Don't give up. I don't know, random commenter guy. I think that's a pretty good sign of leadership skills. I think Momo, after all the traumatic shit he's been through, I think he's going to be a pretty hardened, worthy leader. And of course, he's not doing it on his own. He's going to have plenty of vassals and, intelligent adults by his side, but I'm starting to really like Momo. I think this 8-year-old kid has a lot more tenacity and bravery than I would have. And don't forget, bravery is not the absence of fear. You can't be brave unless you're afraid, because bravery is when you're afraid of something, but you face it head on anyway. That's why Usopp is going to be a brave warrior of the seas, because he's afraid of fucking everything, but he's going to take it head on anyway. And that's why Momo is so incredibly brave. He might be crying with snot coming out of his nose and tears all over his face, but he is still doing what he needs to do in the face of fear. And it's great. 10 out of 10 chapter. And it looks like we'll have a new chapter in a few days, since I was kind of late with this one. Anyway, I think that's all I had to say about this one. I probably skipped a few things, but I don't want to make these videos overly long. So, hey, we got a few predictions right. We made a few new ones that will probably be wrong. Hashtag, I hope Kinemon is alive, Imon. And I'll see you next time for chapter 1016.